Hello, everybody, and welcome to Scheduling Conflicts. I would say probably the only show, maybe the only TTRP show that only happens when a different one is canceled. I've been playing with the idea that maybe when other TTRPGs cancel their shows, we do a special stream on that day. I don't know if, Critical Role takes a week off. We can be like, yeah, I got good news. Safe harbor over here. Come watch us play a game. Normally, this is where you would be going to watch The Party Makes Things Worse, Haven. In this case, you are here to watch Scheduling Conflicts, Gala. We are going to be playing through I hope it's spooky. That's really up to sort of how I do on it as a GM. A hopefully semi-spooky adventure where our party has to infiltrate a party and delicately maneuver their way around a fatal ritual that they simply must interrupt. We normally don't... I'm trying to think if there's anything else really we've got to do up front. I don't think so. Everybody go around and introduce your characters, and then I'm going to introduce the adventure, and then we're going to get this party started. This will be a one-shot, so... God willing, we'll have this thing finished by 11. So put on your speed caps and get ready to roll. Looking at what people are looking at in Streamlabs, it is me in the top right corner, and then Spencer, and then Stefan, and then Tyler. So let's go in that order. So Spencer, go ahead and introduce your character.
Hello, everybody. My name is Spencer, but my character's name is Magister Quinrick. Magister Quinrick is a middle-aged halfling. He's in his mid-200s, he's shown some signs of going over the hill. He is an Oath of Glory paladin. He is a folk hero who has his trusty weapon with him at all times named Chip. It is a great sword of warning. He's loud, boisterous, he likes to get in, get things done, and spread the story of his heroics far and wide, but he, getting on in years, has settled in with the Magisters as a way to get some stability in his life. So that's Magister Quinrick.
On to Stefan.
Right. All right. Hi, I'm Stefan, and I am playing Magister Brezert, what is the subclass? It doesn't show there. Sorry. The Horizon Walker Ranger, who has it's around 25 years old or so, but has been by one of the Fadia gods elected to kind of wander the ashram around Fadia and experience the kind of super cosmos and multidimensional liminal space, and then was brought back to Fadia by the Magisters as an anomaly that they were wanting to investigate. And he's about 5'8", and with the party of smaller people, feeling kind of tall relatively, and has from his travels he's got some pitch black hair with a few glowy purpley strands, and wields a long glaive.
Awesome. I accidentally muted myself instead of unmuting myself. Ty, go.
My person's name's Varys. They're a Kender, which is a halfling, but from Dragonlance, I believe Ethan said. And then
Sorry, this is a legally distinct skinny halfling.
alright, legally. Oh. Alright, I don't know if I can say this, but I'm just gonna rip it. Twink halfling.
There you go.
So I got a twinkling.
You can't make twinklings canon. Spencer, he's turning to dust. No.
Yeah, but they're a bard, Couch of Spirits, who does for the magistrate really infiltrates castles or other courts and whatever's going on, and is really good at the deception and performance of it all.
Absolutely fantastic. Great. So that is our sort of assemblage of magisters here. For those of you who are unaware, which is everybody except the people in this call, magisters, one and all in the world of Fadia, are members of the Magisterium, who are, minus some pretty troubling contemporary world issues, basically the magic police. They use incredibly powerful divinations to keep track of the ebb and flow of magic in the world of Fadia. I guess on the continent of Fadia. There are other countries that are less regulated. I can't remember the name of our foul country to the north. We can pull that up some other time. They, for example, are known for having sort of more sinister magic, which, as far as the country of Phadia is concerned, is unregulated magic. When you break those regulations, when you start risking the material world itself, magisters will typically be sent out to handle that problem. We're looking for Vorthril is the name of the kingdom to the north, which has no such laws. As a consequence, it's pretty well established that Vorthril has had a number of horrible, entire towns turning into undead and shit. So having the magisters around has paid off for Phadia in a very real way. So these three are members of the organization that basically keeps the magical peace. Their current, contract, you all have been on for some time. You have been tracking down Baron Petrin Corvair. Baron Petrin Corvair is known across Phadia for throwing lavish parties and fantastic galas that only the most exclusive people are invited to. They travel from miles away, from continents away. I'm sure the occasional Vorthrillian even crosses the warring borders to make it to one of these famed events. There is a rumor that the undercurrent to these events is that the Baron Corvair is a member of a consortium of people who practice occult magic. In the higher echelons of society, this is laughed off as sort of, a fun interest that he has, an oddity or a quibble, like somebody who has a strange collection of oddities and items that would be sort of mysterious, but not necessarily. If I found out that Spencer had an uncle with a copy of Hammer of the Witches, the Malleus Maleficarum, I wouldn't be like, he's doing magic! I'd be like, oh, cool, a collection. That's how most people see the Baron Corvair. The Magisterium, and specifically you three, know better. Everywhere that his galas have been held, little flares of magic, the likes of which should not exist in the world, have cropped up. And so the three of you have been tracking him down for some time. This has led you to the location of one of these magnificent parties. This one in particular is being held in a sort of distant alpine manor house, like a... when rich people say they're going to a cabin, and then they show you a picture of the cabin, and it looks like it obviously cost $4.9 million to build and is on the side of a mountain, and you're like, that's your cabin? That is what is going on with this party of Corvairs. You are headed to, I think, if memory serves, I might be getting the name wrong. I believe the big mountain range is the Titan's Teeth. So somewhere along the Titan's Teeth, we find you all on your way to this beautiful palatial estate. So first things first, I'm going to ask you guys to chat for just a moment. What's the plan? How are we getting in? And we're going to make some retroactive checks to see how sort of well positioned to actually get into this party we are. You're going to weave the plan, and then we're going to make some rolls. If you roll poorly, that just means we're flying by the seat of our pants. You got that information last minute, and you got into this carriage, which you may or may not have stolen, and are arriving with no plan. If we roll well, we got fake IDs, we've got clothes, we've got whatever we need. All right? So, talk to me about the plan. Let's get some ideas in the air.
Listen, I'm going to pretend to be someone. It's kind of the bread and butter of what I do. All right?
Okay.
You guys just do whatever you want after we get in. And I'll be the guy.
So you're going to sort of use your powers and deception to pretend to be incredibly important, to just sort of walk in through the front door. I love that. Are you going as a sort of ghost medium, like a famous medium, or are you going as a random rich guy?
I'm going as an escort.
Capital E escort or lowercase e escort?
No, I'm gonna seduce the Baron.
Okay, so you're going. So what would this be? So you're a courtesan, right? I think that's
Yeah.
escort in this sort of setting.
Listen, you know Mrs. Doubtfire, Big Mama's house?
Sort of a reverse Mrs. Doubtfire.
We're running it back, all right?
I love it.
All right, Robin Williams killed it.
Okay. I love that. So I think it's very obvious where we are starting. Go ahead and make a performance or deception check. Let's see how you did in setting up this character that you will be arriving as. Spencer and Stefan, start thinking about how you responded to Varys's firmly set plan.
All right, either deception or performance.
Yeah, it's up to you. They both make perfect sense.
Plus 10, 11.
Did you nat one?
No. I'm at 21. I rolled.
Okay, there we go. You rolled an 11. You have a plus 10, a 21. Varys, so what I'm getting from this, largely because Tyler sort of jumped in and laid it out, is you guys were all having your meet. We cut away. Wait a minute. I'm a GM right now. We cut away to a small hideout, off in the narrows of a city. Brezert and Quinrick are talking about plans. You have a blueprint of this place laid out, but who knows what modifications have been made. You're talking about what you might want to do. Varys goes in and drops a bag on the table with a full fake ID, fake passport, documents, birth certificate, just an entire identity of a courtesan who has already been invited and has an invitation to go to this ball, to go to this gala. So are you arriving as hired entertainment, or are you just going as a famous and well-known courtesan who has been invited for the splendor of it all?
Going as a famous one, Big Mama.
Okay, so you are... you're going as a famous courtesan specifically named Big Mama?
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Codename Big Mama.
Codename Big Mama. Great. How do the two of you respond to that?
Well, guard detail makes sense to escort and escort.
All right, escort, guard escort, regular escort. Here's what I'm thinking. I'm gonna
You
walk
could
up.
be underneath my dress.
Funny, but no. I think I walk up and I tell him I'm a magister and I'm here to investigate some disturbances. And that'll give all the attention on me, and you two can sneak away pretty easy throughout the party. They're gonna have me doing some random shit, like put me in places where nothing's going on, but you guys can sneak around because all the attention's gonna be on me.
Wherever
And then
you
when
are,
shit breaks bad,
yeah, wherever you are, we should be.
So the only thing I miss is, so like, what is commanding attention to you?
saying that I'm a magister and I'm here to investigate.
Oh, okay. So you're Benoit Blanc, like, well, I have been hired as an investigator.
Yeah. So then everybody else is like, fucking gotta watch this guy.
Powerful cover. I like it. Okay, so I think that all makes a lot of sense to me. Brezzer, you do want to go as like a sort of bodyguard to Varys. Varys, I do have a very important question. We're gonna have to dodge some problematic what do you call them? Tropes in this genre. Is Big Mama, so Varys, I've taken it to be a male character. Is Big Mama the escort sort of famously in drag a la like English pantomime? Like, is this known, or are you fully pretending to be a female escort, a female courtesan named Big Mama? Which of those two sides are we falling on? Sorry, one more time?
Second one. Listen, Big Mama is the owner of the biggest brothel in Fadia.
So this is a full...
Technically.
So this is a full character that you have portrayed and are in. You are in full makeup, you are in prosthetics, you are shaved. Gotcha.
Big Mama is now canon in Fadia, and I am acting as Big Mama.
Oh, wait! So rewind! No. So there is a Big Mama, and you are pretending to be her.
Write that down. Big Mama's real in Fadia. I
Big
gotta
Mama
keep that in mind.
Canon.
Big Mama canon. Love
I
that.
have to walk on stilts and wear a fat suit.
There you go.
There's a whole
not-
costume. Okay. So good to know
But,
that
you know,
Varys
I
is
use
on
the
the
basic.
edge of heat stroke for the full event. for the full event. Okay, cool. So, Quinrick, because you're exposing yourself to danger, I don't think you need to make a roll. You're rolling up as a member of Big Mama's entourage. My only question is, how did you get an invitation as a Magister, or did the Magisterium provide you one?
The Magisterium essentially gave me a warrant.
Great.
And that's meant to be used as like a last resort. And I'm just opening with it to give the other two a chance to go.
Okay, so you have this last line of defense, which is, I'm with the Magisterium. By Fadian law, I'm allowed to go wherever I want. And rather than saving that for the last resort, you are going to walk up to the front door, flash a badge, and go inside. Great.
Yep.
I'll be candid. You will be in danger because of this. I'm sure that's fine with you.
Yeah, I'm a paladin. It's bound to happen.
So, Brezer, you're sort of are taking up the side here. You need to find a way in. You'll have advantage because of Varys sort of having a pre-existing success. What approach do you take? Is it just, are we rolling deception to get a hold of some fake documents? Are we rolling persuasion to get a hold of some real documents? How do you sort of get your way in? Do you have forgery tools?
No, I don't have any tool proficiency at all.
I do, but they're nonsense.
Oh.
Listen, I can talk.
Spencer, head in his hands, was like, I just really thought calligraphy tools were going to come up.
Calligraphy seemed like the thing.
I thought Potter's tools were really going to be clutch.
Fraser, I'm almost 90% positive. I just talk you in.
All right,
so Brezard's plan is no plan.
Yeah, like just the entire ride there, he's just like steely face, just like every single like bump thing, he's just like completely mute,
Just don't talk. Don't do that the whole time.
So as our carriage rumbles up this long, beautiful dirt and cobblestone path leading up to this gorgeous alpine estate. Alpine, I guess, is still true in fantasy world.
Yeah.
Isn't Alpine's a kind of forest, right? Yeah, this beautiful. You can tell there are these sort of like twinkling lights in the forest as you approach that to the untrained eye, they would sort of giggle like as being, oh, a will-o'-the-wisp, look, careful, don't follow it. But which you all know are just these illusory magics flashing in the distance. Interesting, you killed the word twinkling by introducing twinklings. These scintillating orbs of light are on the sides of the road, which, for the sort of uninformed noble here to have a good time, they're like, oh, will-o'-the-wisp, don't follow it, James, but which you all know to be illusory magics. These lights swirl and guide carriages on the correct path up this mountain as you wind up this increasingly staccatic back and forth, back and forth, back and forth path. Eventually you arrive at a beautiful front opening area. A circle of carriages are making their way around a large fountain. You're looking at, who knows how the water in this mountain is getting here? You are on the top of a mountain. You simply do not know. As beautiful men and women are sort of piling out of these carriages in large dresses and fancy suits, you see some dragonborn, you see some halflings, you see some twinklings, you see all sorts of folks from all corners of the world. A large, incredibly austere black carriage from Vorthril arrives, and you see just in full black plate with a scepter, some Death Knight walks inside there to have a good time. As your carriage rolls up to the front, a guard. They're dressed way too nice to be a guard, but you can see that they are armed. As you step out, you do see, thankfully for the one of you with a greatsword, the other attendees. Some of them are armed as well. So, fun fact, greatswords don't have sheaths. You can't really sheath something that large effectively. So I assume, Quinrick, it's either wrapped in cloth or leather. Usually you would wrap it and then just carry it with you. Is that, do you have some other artifice by which you carry it, or is it something like that?
It is wrapped in cloth, but a section of the blade needs to be exposed so the warning can go off. So it's mostly covered.
Okay, cool. So you sort of have this wrap of cloth with a windowed sheet in it. There's a place where it has been cut open, which thankfully, I'll say, just to my mind, these people are going to look at and are going to think it is you sort of trying to show off your very good, cool sword. So it'll sort of blend in well with you. Maybe seem a little gauche. It's kind of like somebody flipping open their AirPods and closing it all the time in public to be like, I have AirPods. That's an in-joke for Tyler.
It's a hilarious joke.
As one of these guards who are in incredible finery makes their way up, who has the highest passive perception and what is it?
My passive perception is 10, so not me.
Not you.
12.
None of you noticed anything weird.
Oh no, we're investigating.
You guys are not built for this.
Yeah. For also, as we exit out of the carriage, to give Varus kind of like a more like fanfare for the approach, I want to like use the light cantrip on the top of my glaive and kind of like hold it above them, so you have like backlighting as you emerge from your carriage.
Wow,
Huge.
beautiful.
Great.
There we go.
And just sort of like stay sentinel, like maybe to the back and to the left of you, to like cast shadows and all that, and illuminate you.
As your carriage pulls up, you see these two guards, in big quotes, who have nothing weird going on with them at all because of the passive perceptions capping out at 12, roll up to the carriage, open the door. One of them just looks into the carriage, takes a quick visual count of everybody, turns, and goes to announce, without checking in with you. You have been recognized and apparently, to some degree, checked for ID merely by your arrival here. You see one of these figures turns and goes, all the way from the citadel of Almeid, her mistress, Big Mama! And they stand back as Varus in disguise. You step down. Give me an initial persuasion or performance check. Let's get that first read.
Is there advantage with Brezzard's aid?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There's already advantage. I'm an actor.
Wow. Okay, so roll. You have advantage by default. So that's actually good to know. So you don't need to help Varus in this pursuit. They are well built to do this all night. 22. You hear gasps and flauntings. One person looks, clearly makes full eye contact, and gives a look of, they know who Big Mama is, they've met them before, and goes, oh, that's Big Mama, and recognizes them in this disguise and turns their attention to somebody else. They are well received with sort of a plum as they clap. In the disguise of that loud applause, one of the guards ducks their head into the carriage in a moment and makes eye contact with Brezzard and Quinrick. And in a hushed, quick tone, as if to not embarrass you, says, can I help you two gentlemen?
That is my man-at-arms. I picked up the other scallywag on the road there, walking by himself.
You see, they go, with that previous success, you see the guard disengages from Brezer and goes, we are more than welcome to bring personal guards. Turns to Quinrick and goes, on the road?
I pull out my writ and I hand it over and I say, yeah, take a look right there.
They reach out, take it, look. What's your passive insight?
Not going to be much better.
Is it anything?
10. It's the same.
It's 10.
It's also 10.
They look at it, completely stone-faced. You get nothing from the interaction. They look down at your name. Is your name just Quinrick, or do you have sort of a first name, last name?
No, I have a surname. It's Quinrick Strongleaf.
They turn and announce, from the Magisters of the Magisterium, Quinrick Strongleaf! And you step out behind to some applause and a few, like just turns. Again, it is as if you went to the Met Gala and they were announcing people and somebody went, Detective Brown Shoes! You'd be like, what?
Wow. Got that.
The tickets are $25K.
Why does he have a high-powered rifle at the Met Gala?
Great sword over your shoulder. You all move forward. You have effortlessly hurdled over the first obstacle. You walk up a short set of stairs leading to what at first you may have thought to be the sort of front facade of the home. As you get closer, you see is actually just a very thick and well-built decorative wall. The large wrought iron gates are already swung open, and you are looking into a beautiful front garden. You see hedges and decorated topiaries. You see more water effects and fountains. Lots of decoration, lots of money. You see waiters making the way around with little canapes and hors d'oeuvres. You see people serving drinks. Some people are already getting a little sloppy. A couple of people seem to be a few champagnes deep, and the night simply has not even begun yet. As you are all stepping forward, you know you're in the right place, and you know who you're here to intercept, right? The Baron Corvair. You don't know much about what's going on tonight. So as our party enters into this sort of first public area, you can see the doors to the house are open, far to the back, but it seems like most people are sort of doing a cocktail hour here. What is the goal? What are we trying to do? Are we trying to gain information? Are we trying to make friends? Or are we pushing through to try to find the Baron?
I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I'm going to mingle.
Okay. Anybody? Does anybody want to attach themselves to that or do something completely different?
I guess with my passive insight of 15, I'll at least try to keep an eye out for anyone kind of like very unnatural or seeming like majorly out of place.
That's good to know. So what I will give you with the passive insight of 15, you were in the carriage. When Quinric handed that writ from the magisterium to the guard, their facial features stayed completely stony. You watched like the edge of their face. You watched basically like their real chin clip through an illusory chin. So this person saw that and went, and their mouth opened too much, and they broke their illusion a little bit. So you saw like the bottom of their real chin extend past an illusory chin. So one, he was shocked in a very real way, and two, the guards are wearing illusions. You've learned two things with your passive insight. So you will be just sort of circling, probably staying close to Varys and Quinric, and trying to listen for anything odd. Great. Quinric, what are you up to?
Quinric is going to pull aside one of the staff, waiter, waitress, etc., and he says, "Oh, what's the order of events tonight? Just gotta keep my eyes peeled."
Absolutely. You grab. What sort of station of person are you trying to get a hold of? Are you trying to grab the head waiter, or are you trying to grab the lowest possible person you can, or where are you aiming for here?
Probably leaning towards lower.
Great.
Because they would know the major things that are coming up, but they're not going to ask too many questions.
Absolutely. You grab sort of one of these people that are lower on the rung. The minute they make eye contact with you, they stiffen up a little, look to the greatsword, you're assumably in armor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not in fancy clothes.
So a little taken aback for a moment before you then pose that question, and they go, absolutely. Cocktails and introductions are in the garden for the first hour or so of tonight's proceedings, followed by dinner and dancing in the interior of the actual estate for the next few hours after that. Then, of course, as always with the Baron's parties, the inner circle is invited to enjoy a sort of private soiree that will be held somewhere that is up to the Baron within the grounds. They will be the only ones allowed. During that same time, we will be offering turns to somebody, and you see him flick and clearly cast a cantrip, and then yes, the absolutely fantastic singer Volathan Kryn has been brought in to do a performance during that time so that nobody feels left out. And then from there, people are welcome to spend the night or leave and depart back to their own establishments this evening.
Got it. All right, thank you.
That was a classic case. For the record, for those of you at home, we believe in demystifying the DMing process of looking down at a name that you wrote without saying it and going, how do I say that? Going, I don't know how to say that. Wild.
All right. Thank you.
Absolutely. First they go, champagne?
Oh, yeah. I take one.
And they turn and head back off into the evening. Now, wait a minute.
I dump the champagne.
Now, wait a minute. It certainly can't be champagne. There's no France in Fadia. Sparkling white wine? And then you take it and they head off in another direction.
How do they make it sparkle?
How do they get those sparkles in there? All right, great. So, as you get the itinerary, I'm going to check in with Brezert and Varys, who seem to be our other sort of team here. Brezert, who have you grabbed to get some intel or not out of?
I think heading over to like the banquet table.
Yeah. Or I guess
and sort of.
Yeah, it's up to you. Are you with Varys? Are you and Varys a duo on this, or are you going to talk to your own person as Varys talks to somebody else?
I guess as a bodyguard, I'd be staying close to Varys. Yeah.
Okay, so we can sort of combine those actions a little bit. Brezert was going to head to sort of an outdoor food table. There's like a charcuterie board that's 12 and a half feet long somewhere. So I heard something just hit the ground, but not shatter, so I'm not going to get up. As the two of you make your way over to this sort of impossibly large charcuterie with, like, you can't even imagine the cost in gold for this. Brezert, you make meaningful eye contact with Varys. Varys, you look around. You, I assume, want to grab somebody to talk to. What kind of guest are you looking for?
You know what? I'm going to try and make a smart play. I'm going to wink at Brezert. And I'm going to grab the waiter. And I'm going to say, I totally forget the voice I use, so I'm going to go for another random voice.
That's great. The best option is you talk to each new NPC with a completely different voice.
I was thinking about doing that, but...
As long as it's not the same NPC twice, we're golden.
Waiter, you bring my man-at-arms to the kitchen and find me something suitable to eat. This seems a bit poor for me. I appreciate if you could do that.
Poor!
Hurry on.
Okay, I like it. Swift domineering, it makes sense for the event. Let's get up, I think, persuasion or intimidation?
Got 15.
15 all told. I do think a 15 is enough to get a random waiter to do what you want. If you tried to grab, the head butler for the event, they'd be like, get off of me. But, you grab some random jabroni who's like, of course, I am so sorry. And Brezert, you are grabbed and whisked away into the manor house. You see that, actually, this person being a servant and you being a guard, they don't take you up the front steps. You are taken on sort of a winding path to the exterior of the garden, and behind a hedge, there is a smaller servant's door into the house. So they quickly take you out of public sight and in through this side door. You walk through a pretty sizable, not livery, pantry? Yeah, pantry. Lots of food, barrels of mead and wine, salted and cured meats hanging, other fresher things off to the back, some of them on, it's fantasy. There's ice, sitting on ice to make sure that they hold their temperature. They turn the corner and goes, I don't know what the lady thought I was going to do. You can talk to one of the chefs.
And silently, I'm just going to go over and start sampling a couple of the pieces of food.
Oh my! You hear just raw concern come off of this young waiter as you just start picking through things. He goes, "So you are sort of a poison? Please, that ham that ham costs 2,000 gold pieces." As they sort of jog up to you as you are doing that, as you make your way inside to talk to some people, I'm going to swivel my attention back out. Varys or Quinrick. Has one of the two of you turned to some other mode of gathering information? We have an itinerary for the event, and now you very literally have a man on the inside. Where are we at next?
I'm looking to identify the Baron. If someone can point him out to me.
Absolutely.
Like, hey, that's the guy.
Yeah, we're in Fantasy Town. Unless you saw a giant oil portrait somewhere, you may very well have no idea what the Baron Corvair looks like. There's a plot device that you forget about. Yeah, you're sort of trying to make your way around, milling. I see 2 paths ahead. Are you just looking for the most important looking guy? Or are you grabbing somebody and saying, like, where's the Baron? I haven't seen him yet. Like, what's the path?
That's what I'm doing. I'm grabbing whoever looks like they're can be domineered, and like, if you have to see him, you bring me. I have to see him. I have to see him.
Huge. Let me check the Baron Corvair's stats. Let's see if he has any chance of looking through your deception. Absolutely 0. He simply cannot. I'll roll. If he gets a nat 20, he'll know that you're not Big Mama, but that's the only thing that would do it. Let's set the stakes here. I rolled a 2. That's good to know. Yes, you grab somebody that looks like they can be bullied. And at these kinds of elite parties, when you show up in a big carriage with a guard, that's just about everybody. Grabbing hold of somebody, you wax poetic about how you get to see the Baron. And they go, he's currently right over there speaking to the somebody, make somebody face. They point, you look over to the side and
write that down.
Somebody make somebody face. They fill it out. And you see a Fey changeling in a sort of neutral white form with white eyes, who is clearly somebody McSomebody face, a well-known changeling who often accompanies these parties as sort of entertainment. And speaking to them is a gentleman who you can assume to be the Baron Petron Corvair. But the Baron Corvair stands quite short, standing at about 5'6", but is wearing a prominently heeled boot that is sort of kicking them up to about 5'7". They are in very nice finery that is clearly also indicative that they are some sort of caster, right? You can see that there is a component pouch at their hip. They are carrying a staff. The Baron is dressed very illustriously, but is also signaling their sort of magical intelligence and ability. They have very short cropped brown hair that is trimmed quite closely on the side, and have a pretty nasty male pattern baldness thing going on. It is creeping back ever so slowly, but has made it quite far at this point. They have a little bit of a widow's peak almost these days. You see them talking and sort of engaging with a great number of people that are all around them. Varys, what's your passive insight? Let's see what kind of read you can get on the situation.
I believe I have 14.
14? 14's enough to get normal people stuff. You can't help but notice that the people talking to the Baron Corvair tend to stand a little lower on the slope of the grounds, or maybe even fully sit. It would appear that they are putting a good bit of, the people who know him are putting a lot of work into not being taller than him. And if memory serves, you are on stilts. And so probably Big Mama, going off of their name, is known for being quite tall.
I'm going to loop my arms with the Baron.
Huge play.
And I'm going to say, I'm sorry to intervene. I'm sorry, but I need to talk to the Baron. He needs to show me around. He is but a big, very, very gentleman, and you know how I love tall men. So I guess it happened.
I need you to roll the most important luck check of the whole game, which is, we are going to figure out right now how aware the Baron Corvair is of Big Mama. I think you actually want him to be very familiar with her, because we know that he sucks at this. 9. Middle of the road. Baron Corvair has met Big Mama 3 times over the course of the long years that the two have been aware of each other's presence. Yeah. You sweep over, loop his arm, and turn away from these 8 or so people. Give me just a raw persuasion check to see how that face-first interaction goes. Quinrick, you see a bunch of attention. Nat 20. Quinrick, you see a bunch of attention shift as somebody sees this happen, and you assume that this is not a way that people sort of normally treat the Baron. It does give you, I will say, this is definitely an opening. If you wanted to try to slip in somewhere, if you wanted to try to do something, this is a great moment to do it. Varys, you swing in, grab that arm, turn with the Baron Corvair, put your hand on top of his, and say, all waxing about, I only talk to big men, and turn and sort of walk away from these other people, you immediately watch the Baron Corvair's face just fill with red, like a thermometer as the temperature climbs. And he goes, "Oh, Big Mama," as you are sort of pulling him away to some other corner. You see that he stammers and goes, "It is always such a pleasure to make your acquaintance at these events. I'm so glad you could make it," as the two of you sort of snake off. Quinrick, do you do anything to sort of take advantage of this moment?
Yeah. I immediately leave this main area. I take up my cartographer's tools, my journal, and my pen,
Perfect.
and I begin mapping out the cabin.
Don't you dare make cartographer's tools matter. You know what? Actually, this is a really clever angle. I like it, right? You're trying to get a lay of the land of this estate, so you sort of quickly are moving around. Some notes are already there from when the carriage was pulling up. Make a cartographer's tools check? I don't know what that is. What are you going for here, man? It's so I'll say this. It'll be intelligence based if you are trying to like suss out the layout. It'll be wisdom based if you're just trying to take in all the information and hope something comes up. I know that sounds similar. They are a little different.
It's going to be wisdom because I got a -1 to intelligence. Let's see here.
So wisdom and proficiency, you have advantage because the party has been distracted.
Sick. With all that, with a +0 to my wisdom, I got a 19.
A 19's pretty good.
Pretty good.
You're very quickly sketching out some of these other notes that you've done before. You're filling in with pencil very quickly. You're proficient in cartographer's tools, so this is adroit and very fast. You get out some like dot grid paper and unfortunately it is fantasy. You get out some blank sheets of journal paper.
I get out some paper that I put dot grids on.
Vellum! Yeah, exactly. There you go. You invented... No, Quinrick invented Bujo in this world. You're like very quickly tracing this out. Almost immediately, you duck in through the front door to get a look at the front entryway. Looking around and counting the doors quickly, I'm going to say with a 19, there is 2 windows on the second story that are not accounted for. So I'm taking
that and I put inner circle.
So for those of you listening, sometimes in D&D in one-shots you sort of have to condense. So I would love for this to be a 20-minute description of you like making your way from room to room. But what we're going to do is take that action and condense it down. You very quickly make your way around. You assess a couple of details, check a few windows. You're looking for lights, and you're looking for the same color of light in windows outside. You find these 3 windows on the left side of the house that don't match. The color and the whatever like light is coming through does not match the intensity of the light inside. The doorway that should be there is not there. Looking at these 2 things, you know that there is a room that seemingly there is no easy way to get to. You jot that down. Huge.
Sweet. And then I go back to the party. I go to the garden.
Varys, get ready to think about what you're trying to do with the Baron. I'm going to check in with Brezert really quick. Brezert, you've sort of made your way into the middle of the kitchen. You're turning the corner. You see the many, many chefs and sous chefs and, sauciers that are keeping this party afloat. There is easily 3 or 4 dozen people just bustling in a massive kitchen to keep the engine of this party running with what must be over 100 guests outside. What are you up to?
I think first and foremost, I'm definitely getting like my senses like caught on the soups that they're probably cooking and heating up. So I'm gonna try and go over there and like take my flask, dip it down into one of the soups.
You take the lid off a flask in a kitchen, and a chef in a tall white hat steps in front of you and goes, "Pardon me, sir. What are you doing here?"
Here for food for Big Mama.
Okay. Take a big step back.
I'll take a step around.
What are you... as you step around, what are you going for here? Because to an outside observer, you've walked into the kitchen, and opened a flask and are walking up towards a big thing of soup. You see,
Yeah. Okay.
you see the
I will
mental
be like-
picture you've created.
Yeah. I will be like, it is empty. I need to fill it up for her.
I'm so sorry. Let me get completely, totally, lucidly clear. You're gonna fill your water skin with hot soup to go bring Big Mama? The
Yes,
most
it
famous
is.
courtesan in all of Fadia, Big Mama?
She did just arrive, and she's been peckish from the trip. Some of this, and then half of that 2,000 gold ham, or what she requires.
Make a check. Roll something. Roll something.
A good portion of the 2,000 gold ham, please.
Yes.
Maybe a quarter or a third.
All right.
Persuasion, man? I don't know. Deception, maybe? You're off in the weeds.
Yeah. Well, for persuasion, that is an 8.
An 8. He goes, oh, no. The soup will be served at an according time, as will... I suppose if she insists on having her... I suppose the lady of the Citadel of Almeid would enjoy some Almeid and ham. But that will be served with dinner, and I certainly won't be turning it over to one of her guards.
One of the waiters escorted me here. Is there anything, at least, that'll be happening after the charcuterie? Because she snubbed all of that. She needs something much richer.
As I said, dinner is arriving. After that time, we will be stepping inside for dinner and dancing. She is more than welcome to eat dinner alongside with everyone else. I assume that she will have access to the same banquet table that everybody else does, and will be personally served if she is seated at the high table. You know that she's not. So...
Yet.
That will be the arrangement. I mean, if I can help you with something else, I can within reason, but you are asking far too much.
Very well, then. I will open up the ever-smoking bottle, I guess.
Okay.
Just create like a cloud to
So
sort of...
let me get this straight. You
Understood.
try to get soup and meat from this waiter. He says no. And then you go, thank you so much. And you reach into your bag and you pull out a bottle of gray smoke and you uncork it, and gray smoke fills a 30-foot diameter sphere around you.
60-foot radius.
A 60-foot radius. A 60-foot. Does it go around corners? It'll say 60-foot radius.
It's a cloud
Certainly
thick.
does.
Yeah, cloud's area is heavily obscured.
So immediately, the entire kitchen fills with gray cloud. Quinrick, as you're writing your notes down about what is inside, you turn and just see gray smoke just start pouring out of the kitchen door. Just so thick, it immediately starts like traveling across the ground like fingers reaching out in different directions. Varys, as you swing with the Baron, you look off in the direction of the kitchen. You see gray smoke pouring out of the windows, and you just keep turning with the Baron to keep him from seeing. Bresser, I'm going to leave you to think about whatever the heck it is you want to do next.
I think the first thing is just getting a flask of the soup then and bolting.
Yeah, man, you get your flask of soup guaranteed. You
I do
blah,
have-
blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. I do have a blind sight of 10 feet from the martial skill. So I guess like,
Huge.
using that to navigate within the smoke.
Yeah, no, listen,
Hilarious.
it's a great combination. As this moving cloud starts to make its way through the interior of the house, I want to be clear. You are hidden. You are not discreet. So you might want to think about when you're going to put that cork back on that particular bottle of cloud.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, once the bottle is closed, the cloud disperses after 10 minutes. So once I've got that flask filled, I'm going to close it. and
After,
start making my
great.
way.
10 full minutes from now, that'll clear. I love it. You grab...
Dinner's delayed by 10 minutes, guaranteed.
Blah, 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 blah. Big flask of soup, turn, and head off in another direction. Varys, you've grabbed the bear and you're headed off towards, just sort of away from that cluster of people. There's kind of nowhere to go where the two of you will be alone. You see that he's a little red in the face. Something about whatever you're doing's working on him. What do you do?
I heard that you're a purveyor of all magics. I want to hear something interesting. You know how those people try to keep us down sometimes. Much more evidence to the Varillian idea of magic, you know?
Ooh, oh, that's really good. Okay, so go ahead and make, oh gosh. Yeah, deception, probably, right? We're in
I'll run
deception territory. I'm definitely going to give you advantage because that was a good tactic.
Don't worry, I'm already in disguise.
Now, wait a minute. I do want to say, going forward, that would give you advantage on maintaining your disguise. I don't think it would give you advantage on any persuasion or deception check you make while disguised. In this context, you have advantage because I'll let you know that Vorthrillian angle was really smart.
Yeah, you're right. When trying to pass yourself as a different person.
It's all good. This is, you still have that advantage. You are still well disguised. This is still working on the Baron.
24.
24. A look of shock and surprise fills the Baron's face, and he goes, "Why, Big Mama, I had no idea you were involved in the dark arts." And a look of glee, and like, you're getting kind of a like tee-hee-hee vibe off of him. Not necessarily the austere dark magus that maybe you were expecting to encounter. He goes, "I had no idea you were interested in the dark arts. I may have been known to purvey on occasion a few treats and treatises from the Vorthrillian wilds." And he looks as if to look bemused and distant.
Also, I have a ring of truth telling. Let you know. If someone tries to lie to me, I have advantage on the wisdom.
I was about to say, I don't know what that does. Okay, good to know. He's not, I mean, no roll required. He's not lying. You've sort of squeaked that detail out of him. As you move inside, you two sort of pitch into the building. You see that the sort of appetizer garden party is wrapping up. People are starting to make their way interior. Brezer, you open the door to the kitchen and close it behind you and step out in a cloud of gray smoke just in time to see Varys, disguised as Big Mama, with Petron Corvair on her arm, walking into the building, having a chat, seeming to be very involved. Quinrick, I'd love for you to be in this scene. Where do you emerge from? Because I'm not sure where we sort of left you.
Quinrick was heading off towards the garden for the next set of the night's festivities to take a look around there. So you'd probably have to pass through.
Oh, interesting. So as other people are leaving the garden to go inside, you are for the first time going out there.
Yeah.
Great.
Exactly.
So I said I'd love for you all to be in the scene, and Quinrick says no, and dips past them and out into the... No, you're fine. It's a good idea. And dips out into the gardens. The doors don't shut, but you do see that they are brought from fully open to like 45 degrees, as if to signal without having to say it, like, hey, it's time to get inside. You scooch out into the garden as everybody else is sort of getting oriented. Because you're solo, we're going to follow you out in the garden to see what it is that you're going for. So, Magister Quinrick, as you step out, this area is finally clearing. You're getting a good look at the garden, a good look at the hedges and things, without any other people around. You see the guards making their way around. None of them walking up to talk to you. You see that there's a couple of other stragglers. People are still eating and drinking. And the guards are kind of like, you now notice, after I assume Brezer describes to you, the guards all looking to each other with perfectly neutral faces. Like, making eye contact with each other and sort of lingering around the people that are still outside. And eventually, you see one or two of them kind of starts to snake over your way. What are you up to?
I am keeping my eyes to the ground to see if there's anything anybody's dropped. Notes, purses, handbags, wallets, things that might have fallen in the revelry outside.
Absolutely. Go ahead and make a perception or an investigation check. Perception if you're looking for like patterns of movement. Investigation if you're looking for items.
All right. It'll be an investigation.
Great.
Unfortunately, that's a 2.
With a 2, I think a guard just swoops up on you too fast. You're just starting to poke around and look at the grounds, and almost immediately you just hear a soft set of footsteps next to you, and you turn, and there's a guard not looking at you, not saying anything, but clearly standing very near you.
I bend down and I tie up a lace on my boot, and then I head into the manor proper.
Yeah. I mean, so here's what I'll say. Even with that failure, the main knowledge you gain is they don't want you poking around.
Yeah.
You get the sense that a guard has probably been put on you, being a sort of the magister in the room. I will say, Brezer and Varus are noting a decided lack of guards on them, given your sort of attention-calling nature. As you sort of turn and head back inside, having still learned something, but not quite gotten what you wanted. Brezer, making your way up the side, as Varus, you are moving up and through. The Baron Corvair has been speaking to you, Varus, about occult oddities of the far world in a very, imperial, isn't that neat? I'm going to take this from this culture and I'm going to put it in a glass case and I'm going to look at it, is sort of where the Baron Corvair so far has been coming from. He's like, oh yes, it was part of a rather rigorous and exciting expedition out to the west. And he's just talking, and you're like, in your head crunching the numbers, and you're like, oh, so you showed up, killed the people, took their stuff, and came back, and that's an expedition. Seems to be kind of the Baron's deal.
I'm like, yes, I agree. Just all cultures, other than us Fadians, you know what I mean? We have problems, but we'll never be lesser.
Lesser, yes, you're shooting the imperial angle. Good job remembering that. I always forget that Fadia is like an incredibly imperialistic nation.
Yeah.
It was mentioned very casually, and now lore-wise, boys, we are just stuck with that. Yeah, you make your way inside, sort of playing into this. You have a couple of successful persuasion checks. Until you try to gain information from him, I'm not going to make you roll again. You've sort of gotten this friendly thing. He's making his way into the dinner hall. This is a time where you see other people moving in. Brezer, you're a little bit ahead of those two because you're not having this conversation. And you immediately see the great game of these kinds of beautiful galas and balls taking up, which is people jockeying for seats. They want to sit as close as possible to the most famous and illustrious person they can as possible. And so quickly, seats are being sort of taken up and negotiated for. You see gold exchanging hands as somebody goes to sit in a seat next to a particularly important duke. And somebody just swoops up, hands them 5 gold, and pushes them out of the way to try to sit next to that person. As you're all kind of headed in that direction, do we have any objectives there, or is somebody trying to slip out unnoticed in the melee?
I'm just going to ask the Baron, where do you think I should be seated? Where would you like me?
You've got 3 successes in the bag. I'm not going to waste our time with another roll. I think the Baron goes, oh, please, just come sit right by me. And you see you are taken to literally a table that is higher than the rest by about a foot or so. You are swung around the back, swept into a seat. You see another a woman turns the corner. You tap into something that you could not have possibly known. A woman with long blonde hair that is incredibly curled and perfectly manicured in a beautiful red dress looks at you, and under her breath you see her mouth, Big Mama, as a waiter whispers in her ear, and you get a message. She turns, flicks her fingers at you, and you get a message that says, you won this one, Big Mama. Apparently, a whole feud between these two women is going on in the background as she goes off to sit somewhere else and you get the seat next to the Baron Corvair. You quickly look around like, damn. Brezer and Quinrick, are you guys just looking for seats? Are you taking the advantage to try to sit near Varus? Or is one of you just sort of ducking out at this moment? Or a third thing that I didn't think of?
Quinrick does not take a seat. I assume there's an exact number of seats here for the people who were invited. So Quinrick stands in the middle of the room, arms folded, sword next to him, just looking around.
Yes. So they would have known you for about an hour. They would have known you were coming. So you're standing in the middle, like middle side of the room. Dead middle or like middle side? Where are you going?
Dead middle.
Dead
I'm
middle.
Standing there looking around.
You see, there's a waiter looking around with a chair in his hands that does not match the rest of the chairs, and he's like, but you're standing in the middle, and he doesn't know if he's allowed to go to the middle of the room, and so he is just standing there holding like a chair from a different set in his hands, like. Let me ask just straight up, what's your goal?
I'm drawing attention still. So if anybody else wants to get some shit slipped in, slip out, etc., I'm here for it.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think I need a roll on this. You're standing in the middle of the room disrupting the evening. You're continuing to pull negative attention to yourself. There's really not much else to be done here. I think it's just the help action. Brezzer, what are you up to?
I think definitely like kind of taking a blow on the water skin and then sipping up some of the soup.
It is, I cannot stress this enough. You took soup right out of a pot on the stove into a sealed container. It is the hottest sip of soup you have ever sipped in your life. You go, yes, and immediately have to, unless you have resistance to fire damage, you immediately have to like,
I think I've forgotten like how, like, because I've been in the ashram for so long, I've forgotten like what it feels like to be burned. It's just like
fully make a con save.
Tears. Yes.
Fully make a con save.
That's a nat one.
A nat one. You sip, and it just immediately your tongue is so your tongue is so burnt. The texture of the top of your tongue changes. You're like, no. It's like taking a sip of hot cocoa at somewhere and going, nothing's going to taste right for 3 days. It's that feeling washes over you. You need magical healing. As you sort of like, you don't spit it out, even on a nat one, you're like, and you just sort of stiffen back up. Do you move to get a seat, or?
I think I follow in behind Varus and the Baron, but like on the way there, like I'm kind of huffing, like trying to blow on my tongue, just like.
No, for sure. Like, normal Gala, normal Gala activities, for sure. Quinrick, thankfully, because of your display, you look and see Brezzer panting like a dog drinking hot soup out of a water skin, and somehow no one's looking at Brezzer.
I got you, Brezzer. I got you.
Yeah, we're in that.
Yeah, I might pass by the guy holding the chair, and I'd just be like, these people are vying for chairs with gold. If you want to earn some money, sir.
Who do you say that to?
The attendant holding the extra chair. I'll be like, your service might be best like pawning it off to one of these other courtiers.
Yeah, I guess identifying with you as a fellow sort of more servile guy. He goes, yes, I'm really not sure. They told me to bring him a seat. But I'm also not supposed to step out of the exterior of the room. I'm really not sure what the hell to do.
Yeah. I mean, if they want him to sit, they'll probably tell the guards to make him sit.
He turns over to you and looks at Big Mama sitting in her chair and goes, oh, and puts the seat down behind you up against the wall and goes, there you are, a seat for Big Mama's guard. And turns to head off back into the kitchens, relieved that the duty has finally been crested off of his shoulders. As all of that comes out, you see on large, beautifully ornate carved carts, you see chefs and waiters bringing out tray after tray after tray of wonderful looking food that is arrayed across the tables. You see fruits from distant lands, sort of luxurious and fantastical meats and breads, and all kinds of wonderful cheeses are put out with various serving utensils and knives. Plates are distributed. After a few moments, the Baron Corvair stands, and you cannot help but notice a little bit of forced perspective. The other tables are lower, the Baron's table is higher, and the Baron's chair is a little taller, and so he stands like 9.5 feet tall by comparison over the rest of the place and goes, "A dinner is served." and sits back down in his chair to eat. As dinner is served and our dynamic trio prepares to move into the second half of this evening, we know about a secret room. Varys might have an in on some of these ne'er-do-well-ish doings. It's 10:06. We're going to take a quick 5. We're going to be back at 10:11. Grab a drink, grab the bathroom, do whatever it is you got to do. If you're watching at home, don't touch that dial. Don't pause.
Don't touch that button.
Just keep watching. It's just relax, would you? Take a load off.
Don't space out with the space bar.
Come on. Welcome back to Scheduling Conflicts. I just realized the top of the screen over there still says the party makes things worse. This is not the party makes things worse. This is Scheduling Conflicts.
We're
Gala.
the party that makes things better, is the thing.
Listen, we've drunken some hot soup, we've seduced a height-conscious man, and we've drawn a map of the palace and discovered a secret room. I'm feeling pretty good about our progress this far.
Maybe-
The Magisters exude one thing and one thing only, and that is professionalism.
I would say not the party that makes things better. We've made nothing better. The party that makes things stranger,
Makes things
or
different.
weirder, perhaps. The party that makes things different. Yeah, we can go with that.
I want to be clear. If we TPK, this party will still be devastating for the Baron's reputation because he abandoned his guests to talk to Big Mama for an hour. Like,
True.
absolutely fantastic. Okay, so jumping back into the action here as best we can. Dinner has been served. Everybody is seated around. Brezer is sitting in a lone chair behind Varys and the Baron. Varys disguised as the famous courtesan slash entertainer Big Mama of the Citadel of Almeid, who apparently has a famous penchant for Almeidan ham, the most expensive ham in Phadia. We know that the Baron is up to some nefarious deeds, but in Varys' conversations with them, has revealed themselves to be less the mastermind and more the obsessive. Somebody who just enjoys the occult and collects it like a dragon, wanting to hold as much of it as they can. So sort of a different picture than maybe what we imagined. Great. Cool. So, as dinner kicks up and food is distributed, eventually, Brezer, you are brought a smaller plate of some things. You get the sense that you are maybe not allowed to grab the food off of the high table in front of you, as sort of food
You
is
already ate the
delivered
difference.
to you. Yeah, you do have, and this is important to note, got a water skin full of really hot soup. So what else do
What
you
kind of
need?
damage would that do if we poured it on somebody?
Actually, wait a minute. I do need a luck check really quick. Give me a luck check.
All right.
Most important luck check of the night.
14 at least.
14. Good soup.
Mm.
It's not too thick. It's not like shellfish based. The water skin will be savable at the end of tonight. You know what I mean? This is.
Yeah.
It's not cream based. You have not ruined this item. Not bad.
Great. I'll
So
definitely like be more cautiously. I will take some of the bread, like tear it off into small morsels and sort of dip it into the soup. Blow on that would be it.
Quinrick, you're trying to hold the attention, but a few people do start to look at Brezer. A few people. Brezer has a loose handful of croutons, maybe, and has started dunking them into their water skin and pulling them out. And when they pull them out of their water skin, they are clearly covered in soup and eating them with just their fingers. And you do, in fact, see a couple of people like sort of unavoidably just gazing back. So we have cutoff time's 11. You got 43 minutes to get to the bottom of this and kill this Baron. What are we up to as dinner commences?
Magister Quinbrick, can you come over here, please? Your
Oh,
little
called
watchtower
across the
thing
room. I saw the beginnings of a question in the top right corner. That was certainly for me. You cannot text chat a question you want me to answer.
Yeah, I was just
You're good.
I was just wondering whether like our like kind of like modus operandi was like, do we have license to like straight up kill the Baron? Like, is that within our jurisdiction, or do we have to find like whatever like illegal magics are first?
If you are acting in defense of the realm, you are allowed to kill whoever you want. Somebody will like check up on that, right? So there is going to be a second round of maintenance. We want the Magisters to be good guys, right? So there's a third party like group appointed by the rulers of Phadia whose job it is to follow up on Magister things and double check that everything they did was above board. So you can't poison him in his sleep with no evidence or you'll get in trouble. You already have evidence that he has done wrongdoings. Now you're just trying to interrupt him while also not being just murdered. He has guards. You're at a big party with his friends. You want to stop him and hopefully not die while doing it. If you're just trying to solve the problem and you don't care if you guys walk out, you can jump them right now. We'll end on a really successful TPK. I think you guys would probably rather live to see the end of tonight.
Mm-hmm.
A cannon, Magistrate's now Delta Green, and Fadia.
That's. Can I tell you something? You're yep. That was the idea in the car that I was like, absolutely. So, Varys, you call for Magister Quinrick. Quinrick, what's the approach at? Do you like move behind the table? Do you walk up to the front of the main table? What do you do?
I walk up to the front and I look. I lean way back so I can look up.
Oh yeah,
like
you're a
9
halfling.
foot gap.
You're a You walk up. You see from one of the corners, a waiter with a step stool goes.
Yeah, right.
A waiter runs out, puts down a step stool, and runs back, and you top get up onto this like 3 step. You're still looking like a little bit above chest for normal people.
I think that the problem we're having here is that, I let you catch a ride with my carriage, and you're being a little bit of an ass.
A gasp fills throughout the room. Us, you hear from in the distance, a cuss!
I think, I don't think I know. Brezert and a guard over there that's been watching this halfling like it's his next meal. Could you two please get Quinrick out of this dining room? I'm not trying to impose on anyone, and I'm good decorum, but I think we would all agree that Quinrick has been a thorn in everyone's side tonight.
Unfortunately,
does the room agree?
Nothing else can happen but an agreement and applause. You have been an absolute menace.
What?
I will lick my fingertips begrudgingly, stare Quinrick down as I cork my soup thing, and stand up looming over him.
Yeah, Quinrick, I'll say it seems to have been the goal of this evening for you somewhat to have this moment be able to go off. So for sure, you see the one of the guards looks at the Baron, who you see him playing a little bit of the numbers in his head of trying to not look suspicious to the Magisterium, but also really wanting you gone. And he nods, and one of the guards goes, "Seems like it's time for us to step outside, mate." And grabs you by the arm and sort of starts to scoot you towards the door. You see a couple of people looking over at Brezert, wondering whether or not now is the time to say, "Can we get the soup guy out?" But they don't.
Brezert, don't go with him. Make sure that it's not imposed again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see. Brezert, you follow up the side, a look of relief washing over the face of the few people who have been...
I trust you are in good hands in the Baron's company.
Can we all...
Absolutely.
Can we all, and any watchers now and in the future, anybody that we're speaking to through time, can you imagine if you saw a clip of the Met Gala and everybody was enjoying, if viewers saw a clip of the Oscars and everyone was enjoying their evening, and then Ryan Gosling went up to announce an award, and you saw over Ryan Gosling's left shoulder, on the back of the room, it was just a random security guard with a big thing of French onion dip and some chips. like a big thing of French onion dip from his house, not labeled, like in a Tupperware container, just crunching on stage. That's what just happened. 100%. Yes, as the walking embodiment of the Chris Rock slap leaves the room to go into the other, the door shut, pleasant conversation spills back up. And Varys, you are continuing to be regaled with tales of distant adventures and escapades, of delightful adventures, and sort of fantastical things. I will say, for his odd nature, the Baron, statistically, is a really charming guy. You do find yourself getting sort of whisked away, and he knows how to tell a story. There is clearly some curb appeal that he is really interacting with. As the other two head out and we sort of diverge paths, who does one of these two groups want to be followed first? Do one of you have a particularly bold plan already in mind?
Not me.
Not me.
I'm talking
Theirs did they
about-
job. You see Big Mama shoot you a look of, I don't know what else to do up here.
Yeah, I have a plan.
Okay, the doors open and closing behind you. You are kicked out of this sort of large dining room and brought back out. Excuse me. What's happening over here? I've been hexed. And you're now in this sort of beautiful foyer. You see two large staircases leading up to the second floor. You see gorgeous balconies looking over the garden that you could make your way out to. You were not evicted from the party. The language was well chosen on Tyler's part. You were kicked out of the dining room. And so you, Quinrick, are sort of led out to the dining room. 100%, by the way, violating your rights as a member of the Magisterium. They could not kick you out legally, but you've been removed all the same. So if you wanted to act on that, you could. Brezzer's right behind you. You see there are 2 guards positioned at the door and the 1 guard that was with you. So there are 3 guards in this room altogether. The front doors into the garden have been shut. So if there are any guards outside, they are on the other side of a big wooden door. Even with a 12 passive perception, Quinrick. Wait, Brezert. Who has the 12?
12 here.
Brezert. Quinrick with a 10, maybe not. Who knows? With a 12, maybe with the 10. The bar has been placed on the door. The door has been sealed shut. It has not just been closed. You just sort of flag that as everything else has been happening. Whoever's in this party, they have just been shut in this party.
I will ask our guard friend then. It's just be like, those are handy masks you have on. Are those available kind of to general guardsmen and such?
The two of the guards make eye contact with each other, and the one goes, you hear, again, maybe now for the first time you notice that their lips don't even move when they talk. Goes, it is not a mask, it is an enchantment. I cannot offer you one.
Oh, too bad. They seem handy. Thank you, though.
Make a persuasion check.
19 minus 1, so 18.
Wow.
I mean, Security Meister Fitz is hiring.
Ah.
So, I mean, if you were look, it's kind of a roundabout. But I'm just saying, if you like the look of the job, I mean, it's pretty cush. Yep.
Yeah, it does seem like you have good foods here too. They're
We
very
are-
delicious, even though painful.
We are not allowed to eat it. I cannot stress that enough. It's actually really important if you get the job through Fitz. You are not allowed to eat. You will get in so much trouble if you eat the food. It's wild. Everything here
Really?
costs a million gold. It's ridiculous. You take a bonbon and they're like 50 gold out of your next paycheck, and it's awful. Anywho, I'm gonna. What?
Any interesting foods though? Like at least at this diner, anything particularly tempting? I mean, there was a ham apparently worth 2,000 gold, but is there anything like you noticed?
There's
like,
not meat and ham here.
Yeah.
Wild.
I tried to get a slice for Big Mama, but they denied me.
What are you doing? What is the goal? What are you doing?
Just shooting the shit.
Getting a vibe check on, like, I guess how conspiratorial these guards are right now, and
This is
like, whether
This is a guard who is paid money to kill people that the Baron wants killed. This is every other guard in the world. This guy's, it's that's I think I've hit the nail right on the head. He doesn't seem like a spooky cultist. He seems like a guard who is getting paid very well to take care of this event.
Okay. All right.
I'll tell you what. Make an insight check on this particular guard. We'll see if maybe you can sort of.
This guard is actually part of a separate cult to the dragons.
No, but we can sort of see where he's coming from. Go ahead. What's the result?
All right. That's a 14.
This is a guard-ass guard.
All right.
This dude's name is Guard B Guard right here, man.
Excuse me, God be God. Quick question. What's up with the barred doors?
Don't want
Two of
any
the guards.
musicians coming in, I guess.
One of the guards looks over at the other one a little too fast, and again, you see this illusion is not the best. You see he whips his head around a little too fast, and the face takes a second to catch up as two of them make eye contact and see that you have noticed the door. No roll required. You flag that the tension in the room is just ratcheted up. The one looks at you. I'm gonna... 1 second. Rolled a 3, and he goes... Safety's first, you know. When you get so many people in the same place who are all got so much money, gold. The one they're sort of chiming in, trying to drift horse. It's not going well. Gold. You gotta keep them safe.
Yeah.
Case
All
of a bandit.
Yeah, I mean, bunch of riches. Cool. All right, I'm gonna go take a piss. And I point around until they...
Oh, yeah, until they sort of... Okay, gotcha. Yeah, no, totally.
If you guys are watching the door, technically it's in my possession now. If you want try some of the soup, I can leave this with you all.
Make a persuasion check.
Keep an eye on him.
Make a persuasion check, soup boy.
14.
Oh, gosh. I don't...
If I were a
You gotta
guard
roll.
With
and
a...
I was never allowed to eat it, I would.
You
take
gotta
this
roll.
piss.
Here's what I'll say. With a 14, the two guards at the door look at each other, look back, and one of them takes your water skin of soup. The third guard, who has walked out here with you, says, "I'll show you," and starts walking with the two of you. So you're down to one. You start to sort of twist around the corner. And head deeper. You see, the bathrooms are just far out enough to offer a little bit of privacy, so he basically walks you down like one hallway that goes off of that front row of windows and starts to walk you down that path. Eventually, he does walk up to a door and goes, "Bathroom right here."
All right. I am going to tackle this man into the bathroom.
You know what's really funny? No joke. When you walked in, he was going to look at Brezzer, shake his head no, and follow in after you. So you and the guard, I need to know, what do you think happens when you and the guard both go to kill the other person in the bathroom? You and the guard both look back at Brezzer, both shake your heads no, and then both draw blades.
It's like we cast Compelled Duel on each other.
It really is. Go ahead and roll initiative. While you do, we cut. What sentence do we overhear Big Mama sort of amusing the Baron with?
Well, I really started getting into darker magic when I realized I could use prestidigitation to pleasure 4 clients at once. So...
Oh, stop it! Stop it! We're at dinner. A whole beautiful, a very naughty little conversation going on there. You've got a lock on the Baron. You've got this dude wrapped around your pinky as you are sort of telling these stories, like giving into his interests, giving into these other things. The two of you are hitting it off quite famously. This is hilarious. All right, what are those initiative rolls? Who won?
I got a 17.
I got a 7.
Okay, very good. Q is for Quinrick, B is for Brezzer. The guard rolled a natural 20. +2. Damn. So the guard goes first. Yes.
My sword does chirp at me, but I've already drawn it, so it really doesn't help.
Point of order. The guard does not draw a blade. I forgot what their sort of setup is. As you turn the corner, you draw your blade. You watch the guard do that Henry Cavill, like, and the illusion falls. And you see this guard is in plate mail, and on the back of the gauntlets are these, like, softly glowing runes, and he goes to punch you in the face. Okay. Oofa doofa. All right, that's a 9 to hit.
Won't hit.
and I'll use my Sentinel reaction to attack him.
And a 7. Absolute trash.
Won't hit.
You see he goes to punch you, misses with the first, and goes to grab the front of your armor. And you see as he comes around, you see more little glyphs. These gloves are clearly empowered to help him in this sort of melee fight. As he goes to grab, however, what happens? What'd you get to hit?
That one.
What? Is it an arrow or is it a blade? What is it?
I guess like pulling out the glaive to hit him, but I think my tongue is just aching so much too that I'm just like, I take a deep breath in and like the cold air on my burnt tongue just like freezes me up.
Your heart's not in it.
Full Three Stooges. He goes to punch, you dodge out of the way. He goes to grab. Brezzer goes to swing, gasps at the pain. The glaive slams down into the ground. The guard jumps back a little bit. All of those attacks somehow do not hit at the same moment. That was on the first attack. Point of order. He will use the reaction exploit opening to gain advantage on his second attack. So he's going to roll again just to see if he can manage to hit. Cocked. You know what that means.
Gotta respect the cock.
Gotta respect the cock. Gotta honor it.
Gotta
19
honor the
to hit? I don't know what you're rocking.
A 19 hits.
Okay. You don't take too terrible much damage. You only take 5 points of bludgeoning damage, but you are grappled. As he reaches down and grabs onto the front, are you wearing, like, what kind of armor do you wear?
I'm only wearing chainmail.
As his hand reaches down, he grabs onto the front of your chainmail, and you hear, as he comes to the end of that, a, like, crrr, as some magical enforcement grabs you harder than he should be able to. I would love it if we could switch to combat music. We are kind of in the peaceful zone right
Great.
now, and it's a little weird. That is the guard's turn. Up next is going to be you, Quinrick. You're only grappled, so you don't have disadvantage on attack or anything. You basically just have a movement of 0.
Well, I guess that means I'm gonna have to cut that hand off then, huh? And then I swing.
What?
My sword.
What?
Yeah, I swing my sword to cut his hand off 2 times.
Huge.
That's going to be a 24 to hit and
Oh no!
a 9 to hit on the second one.
9 does not hit. 24 absolutely hits.
Yeah, I'll roll damage, and I am going to Divine Smite. So it'll be an additional 2d8. Unless he's undead.
Not undead.
Alright. Didn't think so. Needed to be sure.
At least we know that now.
That is 10 plus 20 damage total.
Oh my goodness gracious. A titanic, devastating swing on this guard. You slash down with your greatsword across the front of his chest. A halfling greatsword, so it's like 5 feet tall. He like leans backward as it cuts into him, but you see he goes to let go, and the gauntlet won't. Like the gauntlet won't let go.
Like I said, I'm going to be taking that hand.
No. You already rolled for your second attack and it missed, right?
Yeah, that's
so
it for me.
Yeah, as you do that, you go to swing a second time, and he just drops all of his weight down towards the floor, and and it puts your swing off balance. That's your action. You have your bonus action. You don't have any movement. What are you thinking?
I'm gonna just stand there. I do have
Menacingly.
an additional ability. Brezzer, you are going to get 2d8 plus 6 temporary HP. So let me roll that real quick.
Nice.
Whoa.
12 plus 6, 18. You get 18 temporary hit points as my Divine Smite lands, and you are emboldened with courage.
God, getting Divine Smited as a normal guard. So funny. All right. With that, Quinrick's turn comes to an end. Brezert, you are up. You've missed your first attack with the glaive, but so you are in position here in combat. The sounds of combat are like going down the hallway. Those 2 guards are distracted. They're not that distracted. You need to bring this fight to an end quick. If this guard yells, people are going to come help him.
All right. I guess that'll be 2 strikes with the glaive then.
Sure.
Dirty 20 and
Hits.
then a 24.
Those both hit. My man's in plate mail, but that'll do it.
All right. So that's 13 damage plus
Wow.
5 for the other one.
Huge. So 18 in total.
Yeah.
Okay, so at the end of those 2 attacks, the guard is looking hurt. Not on his last legs. He is still up and kicking. Yeah.
All right. Bonus action, I will try to swing with the back of the polearm.
Okay, polearm master. You got to crack down into his face with the
Yeah.
back.
That'll be a 15 to hit.
15 does not hit. He has this very heavy armor on. As you go to slash down, even though he doesn't have a helmet on, he just shifts his weight and you bang into the side of one of his pauldrons.
Mm-hmm. That'll be it.
All right, on the guard's turn, he is going to bellow out, "Help! Help!" Yelling that the 2 of you are fighting back, which is... Yeah, I mean, I guess if you... I was about to say, maybe that doesn't make sense because he came here to kill you, but if you come here to kill a random dude, and then he smites you, and then his friend pulls out a 6-foot-tall glaive, you're gonna be like, I need help! This was a mistake! I thought I could do this! I can't do this! Yeah, he's going to go to punch you in the face many times.
It'll be really funny when they go to do whatever the fuck they're gonna do with those locked in people, and all the guards are dead outside, and like the screams erupt, and we just lift up the bar and walk in.
It's a 10 and a 14. Do we got anything?
I got nothing.
Okay,
10
cool.
and 14 for their
To
hearing,
hit him?
or... Oh.
To hit him with their fists. This guy goes to punch you twice while you are grappled. And are you just dodging out of the way? Or are you using your armor? How do you just not interact with this guy?
First one, he swings down, and I just catch it with the top of my head before he gets to the point of full impact. The second one, he pulls back and swings, and I lean as if I'm going to do it again. So he overcompensates, and I twist to the side, and it misses.
He goes to punch, and you headbutt his fist, and he goes, "What the fuck?" And he goes to punch again, and you dodge out of the way. Fear filling his eyes. No bonus action, no meaningful reaction. Those other 2 guards take the full company of their movement, and it's not enough to get around the corner yet.
All right. In my reaction with Sentinel, I strike at him again and got a 22 to hit.
Great. Roll damage.
And 9 slashing.
Okay. He looks terrible. He's still up. You hear heavy footfalls coming from the lobby. Those 2 guards are going to get around the corner next turn. That's the end of the guard's turn. Quinrick, you're up. You have to completely wrap this up.
Quinrick swings 2 times.
Great.
He gets a dirty 20 and a dirty 20.
Fantastic.
To
Both
hit.
hits.
That is 6 damage and 8 damage.
Dead.
For 14
What do you
damage.
do? Now let me be clear though, because this is very important. The first blow kills him. So if you wanted to shove attack, so you have that second attack. If you wanted to shove him into the bathroom with your second attack on a dead body, that's going to be very easy to do. How do you want to approach this?
I swing down, I cut his arm off. It spurts blood, and he falls unconscious and will die in a few seconds. As he falls, I'll grapple him, I guess, and walk out towards the door. So I'm just holding him up with the second attack.
Okay.
So I have his body
Weekend at
in front of me.
Bernie's?
No.
There's a
if they have
lot of
any
blood on
ranged-
the floor and wall.
If they have any ranged attacks, I'm walking out so they can't hit me with them.
Fabulous. So you get 3/4 cover, which is +5 to your AC, as you hold a full-sized medium body over your small frame. Brezzer, You just look down and look back up, and you do not have a dead body with which to protect your entire self. Brezert, what do you do?
All right. I guess I might pull out the smoke thing again.
Love the smoke thing.
I'll just like, I guess Quinrick, let's make our way elsewhere and pull it out in like the 60-foot radius.
Yeah, Quinrick, you see Brezert, boom, and you see a very familiar looking gray cloud boom, fill the area immediately.
Nice.
At 120 feet, Varys, you look up in the middle of your bemused chatter and see the soft little tendrils of gray fog starting to lilt under the edge of the door into the dining room.
You know what? Let's listen. We're almost at 11. Let's make this party happen. Fire! Fire!
Oh my god.
Fire!
Yeah. I think it's got to be Wait. I think it's deception because I think you know that it's Brezert.
I know homie has just a bomb.
Let me tell you this.
And I saw it before.
Let me tell you this. I'm going to give you advantage because there is smoke.
Looks like fire.
That saved me. 27.
I thought that was going to take you so long. I had a chip.
Oh.
Terrible mistake. With a 27, you stand up, point, yell fire. You see like 3 people pass out. 3 people faint immediately from the stress as you yell that. You see one of the waiters goes, "Oh heavens!" reaches over and grabs like a pitcher with ice and water and starts running towards the door. People start knocking over their chairs, climbing over each other. You see people pushing other people to the ground as they go to dash their way out to whatever door they can get to. This place immediately descends into a frenzied panic. You see the Baron. So first things first, Varys, I want you to roll initiative so that I know where you are in our sequence of events. The Baron is going to go on initiative count 20 because he will be basically only taking layer actions until a fight starts.
2.
A 2, great.
Oh wait, I should add my initiative.
That would be good.
5.
I'm going to roll for the Baron. It feels icky to let him get the 20 slot for no reason. I only just realized that means he's ahead of all of you, and that no longer feels fair. Okay, I rolled much worse, so I'm glad I did that. I flipped to a different page. What's his dexterity? So +2. Okay.
What initiative does Somebody Make Somebody Face get?
Somebody Make Somebody Face, the changeling from the Feywild that's here.
Yeah.
They are going on initiative count. They are on 6. I rolled a 4 + 2. 6.
A little slow on the uptake.
I'm putting them on the list now. We're going to keep track of Somebody Make Somebody Face, the famous Feywild changeling from the Far Realms. Great. Okay. So that was mainly as an extension of Brezert's turn. So you yell fire. And unfortunately, technically, the Baron is not up for quite a while.
He's currently like taking a huge sip.
Yeah, so Varys, it would have been your turn next. As a free action, you yell fire, and panic starts. You have your action, you have your bonus action, you have your movement. What do you do?
I link arms with the Baron. I say, it's probably that damn magistrate. Yeah, I thought I didn't think he was as powerful as he was. We need to make sure we get out of here. Get him in the open. That's where he'll be the weakest.
All right. Okay. Here's what I'm going to say. The Baron already has a plan. So go ahead and roll persuasion. DC is 20. Because he knows what he wants to do and has, as charming as you've been, has just met you.
No. Totally.
So go ahead. Let's see what the result is.
I more just want to be on his side.
Great.
By the way, this is not like a me. 22.
22. She goes,
Oh no, wait. Actually, wait. I may have misspoke. It's actually 19.
No. Okay,
I don't have expertise in it.
a 19 will just fail. The Baron looks at you and goes, my darling, just give me a moment. I must do something else first. Stay close to me, no matter what happens next. And he firmly distributes at that point. Okay.
I ready the dodge action.
Nice. You take the dodge action. Disadvantage on attacks, advantage on saves. You eyes wide, looking for whatever it is that's going to happen next. Okay. At initiative, the guard's dead. Those other two guards, I'll roll new initiative for them. Oh, they go anyways. Those two guards run around the corner and go, what the fuck? As they run into a fog cloud and have no idea what they're doing. I'm going to roll, I guess, what do we think it is? A luck check? Like, I don't even think they get, because they would automatically fail a perception check because they're blinded. So I'm just going to roll luck to see if one of them runs into you. I'm going to say on a 17 through 20. They will literally run into you. You feel one of them, oof, they got a 16. You feel one of them run right in front of you as you duck backwards, and they're both just lost in the fog cloud somewhere.
Oh, I forgot I already used my reaction, so I can't use that. So.
Okay. All right, so with that, those two guards just run. They spend the whole time searching for you. That's their turn. Quinrick, you're up next. What do? You hear fire and panic in the other room.
I make a beeline for the door. So I dash to get to the barred doors.
Now, you are also blinded, but you know what? You're a cartographer.
And I have the
You
map
drew
right
a little
in front
map
of me,
and
baby.
everything. If cartographer tools were ever going to come up, we got to do it now. I'm going to say that you put your hand on the wall, imagine the space, the map in your mind, and you run to the door knowing exactly which direction to head. You get a hand on the door handle. You feel that bar. If you're trying to lift it, I need an athletics check.
Absolutely.
It's a big,
It's my
heavy
strongest
wooden, door. Bar.
Athletics,
Door.
you got it. That is a dirty 20.
And this little halfling lifts this log over his head and tosses it backwards. The doors swing open huge.
Quickly, this way!
You yell that. The doors to the dining room are opening on the Baron's turn. The Baron looks around and goes, shit. All right, fine. Volithan, do it now! We have to do it when we can! And you all see Volithan Kryn, the famous alto, stand up and starts to sing. I would need everybody in that room to make a wisdom saving throw, but Varys, you cannot help but notice that you seem to be protected from whatever the effect is. You are standing right next to the Baron. The Baron is unaffected, and thus so are you. Your deception has paid off. I'm going to make... I'm going to make one check for the people sitting at the fancy table, one check for the people on the left, and one check for the people on the right to see how many of them fall asleep. The DC on this bad boy is a 15, which is a lot for a commoner. So we're going to see.
A good thing we're nobles over here.
Fair enough. It's ironic you said that. High table saved. Left and right tables failed.
Oh.
So you watch countless people at these other tables starting to get up, begin to fall, all asleep, as this lilting melody starts to flow throughout the room, infused with magic. People all around you beginning to fall asleep. Anyone who falls asleep, the minute they land, you begin to see their skin start to sallow and dry, as if all the moisture is being pulled out. You see a couple of people are unaffected. About 10 spread across the room. They begin to stand and like take off whatever fancy clothes they have on, and you see these robes underneath. The Baron turns to you and goes, Big Mama, I have a surprise for you. A ritual! And this starts to go into full swing. The people at the head table, however, closest to the Baron, begin to scream and panic. Unaffected, flipping the table, they begin to scramble out and towards the front door. The Baron begins to call, My brothers! My brethren! Stop them! As this fight is turning into... as this panic is turning into a little bit of a fight. That's the Baron's turn. Up next, it is Brezert. Brezert, you hear all that begin. The doors open. You only have 10 feet of tremor sense, so all you're doing is hearing those sounds of panic and the Baron yelling about a ritual. What do you do?
All right, I guess moving 35 feet towards the door.
Great.
And how close does that get me to like the front door again? Or the door to the banquet hall?
The door to the banquet hall, it only gets you halfway. The front door, it would get you there.
Okay. Do I have like line of sight into the banquet hall though?
You made a 120-foot fog cloud. No.
Okay.
Unless you can see through that fog cloud. No.
Yeah. All right. I guess I will.
A double-edged sword, the big old cloud is.
Yeah, I guess I will dash then to get closer in.
Great. Does that mean that bottle is on the floor where you were standing?
I guess it's got like tucked into my pocket and it's just
so
moving.
Wouldn't it follow you?
No, as long as the thing is inside the cloud, every minute it expands by 10 feet.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't stay centered on the bottle.
Right.
Okay, that is the only. That's super important. So in that case,
Yeah, it says a cloud of thick smoke pours out in a 60-foot radius from the bottle.
So you're going to want to leave the bottle behind if you want to get out of the fog cloud. It is a 60-foot radius sphere centered on the bottle. So if you want to run out of the cloud, you have to leave the bottle behind.
All right. Yeah, I guess I will just. I guess it says as the cloud persists as long as the bottle is open. Closing the bottle requires you to speak its command word as an action. So I guess I will speak the word and then move the 35 feet just to get closer.
Great.
This turn.
So you speak the word, say an action, close the bottle, and then run 35 feet.
Yeah.
Great. You have your bonus action. Is there anything you can do with that?
Don't think I've got anything. Nope. So that's it.
Okay. A lot of moving pieces. I have a very important question, very quickly. Do we have a hard 11 cutoff? Can we go a few minutes over? Do we need to go no minutes over?
We can go a few minutes.
Okay, a few minutes is great. We're wrapping up here, all right? I'll tell you what. This is a W in the mat. The ritual has been interrupted. You might not do all the objectives. You might not get all those optional objectives for extra XP. You interrupted the ritual. Okay, that's great. Somebody McSomebody face. I'm gonna roll luck check to see if they were sitting at the high table. We want an 11 through 20. 19. Somebody McSomebody face stands, looks around the room. They're a changeling. Sees one of the guards, looks around, makes themselves look like a guard, scurries under the table, runs 30 feet towards the door, dashes another 30 feet towards the door. You see a guard sprint through the door. That's what you see. You see a guard sprint through the doors as if they are booking it towards the front door as fast as they possibly can. That's somebody McSomebody face's turn. You asked for this. Varys, you are disguised as Big Mama. You are standing on probably 3.5 foot tall stilts, wearing a fat suit, underneath a large gown, standing next to the Baron, who is madly in love with you. What do you do? It's been a wild day for Tyler's character.
It has been. So, we're going to do Is there any other enemies near me or no?
Yeah, so there are these sort of various members of the cult. Some of them clearly seem to be a little bit beefier, a little bit more ingratiated. Others really don't seem like they are that important and seem like random people in the Baron's circle. You basically just need to tell me who you are going after.
Yeah, so I'm gonna take my movement and get away. And then we're gonna cast Cloud of Daggers to hit as many people as possible.
Cloud of Daggers, if memory serves, is quite a small area. What is it? Is it radius? What's the radius on that?
My bad. It is the range is 60 feet, but the area is 5 feet.
5 foot radius or 5 foot diameter? Huge difference.
It just says area 5 feet.
Okay, so it'll take up one. So basically, you need to pick somebody to Cloud of Daggers.
Yeah, I'm picking our little boy there.
You go to run. The Baron goes, "No, come back. It's not safe." I will say, as you take a few steps away from the Baron, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw. The DC is 15. What was it?
19.
A wave of sort of tired, sleepy energy overtakes you, but not enough to make you actually fall asleep. You continue to run. And getting outside, the Baron goes, no, it's not safe. You must return. You turn. And you're a bard. What does this spell look like? Because my question is, do you act so hard that daggers made of spectral energy appear? Like, what is your brand of acting here? Or I know your spirits, is it? Like, what does this look like? Cut me off a slice.
I start speaking tongues, like.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Yeah. I'm talking like the witch pirate lady that like talks to the ghosts. You know what I'm saying?
I think so.
Listen, I'm having an idea, man. They talked to Johnny Depp's character.
Gotcha. Yes. We're in.
Anyway, and it's not just daggers flying around, but it's like half-bodied skeletal ghosts swinging daggers wildly in a vortex.
I love it. You begin to chant. You're channeling Calypso from Pirates of the Caribbean, throwing your arms. He goes, "You know the magic you speak." Oh! As these spectral ghosts start to stab. He's screaming. And he's stabbed.
11 hit points. He instantly dies.
I cast it at a level 3. So a creature takes 4d4 slashing damage when it enters the spell's area for the first time on a turn, or starts its turn there.
Cool.
So I believe that means it takes 4d. I believe that means it's actually 6d4, and then it will take 6d4 on its turn.
So, what you could not possibly, or what you may have known, but no official check was rolled on, is while the Baron sort of proffers himself as a great caster, from your conversation, you may have deduced somewhat an embellishment on the full range of his actual abilities. In point of fact, Baron Petron Corvair uses the noble stat block.
Well, that's gonna be
So-
sayonara.
So you're rolling how many dice? You're rolling 44?
64.
64.
64.
'Cause it's
Great.
Cloud of Daggers.
So important. What's the save? What am I rolling?
There is no save.
Great. He has 9 HP. Roll that 64.
It's
first
almost
one's a 4.
impossible.
First one's a 4. Tough start. You see, the second these things...
So now it's literally impossible. Now it's literally possible because I have 5 more rolls.
Yeah, but let's roll. Let's see how bad it gets. I want to know if he evaporates.
That's another 4, 8.
Yikes.
Just gonna be.
He's alive still.
2,
10.
a 3, 13.
I want to know if the Baron's going to get death saves. That's my question.
15.
15. We're
One
cutting
more.
it close.
And then 4, 19.
19. Double his health was 18. The Baron, I cannot stress enough. You watch Baron Petron Corvair unmade. Spectral ghost wielding daggers carve him to ribbons as he gurgles through blood and tears. No, Big Mama! Everybody who survives this party will vividly remember Big Mama summoning a spectral army to tear the Baron Corvair to pieces.
I can't wait for her to be confronted about it and be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
He is ripped to shreds. Another member of the party, one of the people he gestured to as an ally, who you never spoke to and never learned anything about at all, stands up in extremely illustrious robes with gold trim and goes, "No! He's the focal point!" And you begin to hear blasts of necrotic energy. I had 2 encounters prepared. One for if the ritual went off, and the other for if it went off incorrectly. You begin to see a shadowy mist billowing at the center of the room. The people that are drained of some of their vitality begin to start awake, not dead. They were all supposed to die to make this happen. You see a stuttering, barely active portal summon. This woman who you never spoke to goes, "I know not what will come through! Run! Run while you can!" And then you look forward, just in time to see, with paper white skin and big red shoes, a giant, brilliant red nose, and a large, colorful hat, you watch as a clown with 3 rows, shark style, of sharp teeth steps out of the portal. Another one, half his height, but with arms that are twice as long, that he's holding over his head, walks out next to them. You see 2 space clowns walk out, and she goes, that's not what I expected. And I'm going to roll initiative for the space clowns. I think with the Baron Petron Corvair dealt with both sets of doors opened, with all of this terrible ritual, which would have summoned something a lot worse than space clowns, dealt with, I think we are going to bid Brezert, Quinric, and Varys, as the most professional magisters that the Magisterium has to offer, a fond farewell. The disaster has been averted. Maybe to the side, we will play out the rest of this, and that'll be a tweet or something that we will post. For those of you that watched, I promise, I know the CRs that are upcoming. Party's gonna be fine. The party was gonna be A-okay. This was meant to be sort of a fun encounter for the end. We don't quite have the time. I think the end visual is enough. This dark ritual swirling around you. You see 2 clowns step out of the portal. As weapons are drawn, we fade to credits, like an anime where they ran out of budget before the final episode. For those of you watching now and in the future, thank you so much. I hope that this is still true if you were watching in the future. I don't know, maybe our schedule will shift. You can tune in, hopefully, to The Party Makes Things Worse. Right now, Haven Edition, maybe something else if you're further in the future. Tuesdays from 8 to 11, we're switching to a shorter format of show, 10 to 15 episode seasons, so it'll be a little bit easier to take up a new one, watch it through, and get caught up to the next one. We've had a little bit of a delay here. We had our first episode, and then our wonderful GM is in the process of moving. We've had a couple of other things going around, so we've had to take a little bit of a break. Normally, if we miss a session, you can tune into Scheduling Conflicts, which is this sort of interim show, a pretty good catch-all when we need it. You can also tune in on Thursdays from 6:30 to 8:30 for DM Writer's Room, where we demystify the DMing process. Maybe eventually we'll have some guests on that show. I'd love to make Tyler come up with a monster sometime. That would be pretty great. But we'll see. And then, I don't know if this is true this Sunday or not. It depends on the currently quite occupied Michael's time. Master of Games is Sunday from 7 to 9:30 or 10. We've been depends on when we reach a good stopping point. In that one, we set arbitrary goals for ourselves and play through games. Right now, we're playing Baldur's Gate 3, rolling with the Big Boy Squad, which is just 3 very buff dudes and Halson, the only other buff dude that you can recruit, which has been pretty fun so far. Definitely check out our TikTok, watch all of those. If you go on, we're on Drive-Thru RPG, or are we on the other one?
Drive-Thru RPG.
Drive-Thru RPG, you could pick up our first adventure, Lich's Dollhouse, and upcoming, again, we have that move in the works, so we don't know when it is upcoming necessarily. The Void's Eye Observatory will be the next, and we are moving on to other projects, which are all very exciting. Did I miss anything? All right. Thank you very much. Hopefully we will catch you same bat time, same bat channel, hopefully for some other stuff. I bid you all a fond adieu.
Peace.